Due to unforeseen technical filming difficulties, Lesson 4 of the Tai Chi 108 form, brush knee, will not be filmed on location at the lake.
Welcome back. We're making pretty good progress. We've gone through the opening posture, step out to left ward off, grasp the sparrow's tail, turn around and single whip, raise hands and shoulder strike, and then crane cools its wings. We're all the way up to brush knee. If you're new to the channel, I'm Dr. Todd Martin, creator of the Tai Chi Code. I'm going to begin with a demonstration of brush knee. And at the end of the video, I'm going to do a demonstration from the front view and then from the rear view so you can follow along, all the way from the beginning of the 108 form through the first section, concluding with cross hands. Before we get started, if you find that you're liking this style of instruction, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also drop me a comment and let me know what you think. Let's go ahead and get started. Now let's go step by step through brush knee. And in addition to brush knee, in between the third and the fourth brush knee, we're going to see play the fiddle. This is how it's done in the sequence of the 108 form, beginning at the end of crane cools its wings. The first thing that happens is we drop the right arm and raise the left arm. Left palm is going to be face down. Right palm is going to be rotating slightly upward. This is just below shoulder height. Then we're going to release the forward leg from the ground, allowing the body to rotate. And then we're going to step out into a shoulder width stance onto the heel. And as we step, the left arm is going to drop to waist height and the right palm is going to circle up to the ear. Then we're going to push forward, and this is the brush knee. So you can see the left palm brushing across the body and across the left knee as the right palm strikes forward. Now we're going to pivot and transition to brush knee right. This was brush knee left because I'm brushing the left knee. We're going to sink back and pivot out on the left foot. We're going to push forward and then free up the swing leg just like we did before, allowing the body to rotate and the left hand to circle back. And then as I step out onto the heel in a shoulder width stance, the right palm now is going to drop and the left palm circle up to the ear. And then I push forward with the left palm and brush the right knee. The knee, as I move forward, should go just past the ankle, no further than the toes of the foot. Make sure to keep vertical posture. Keep your pelvis tucked on the rear leg to keep that neutral pelvic tilt. And then we're going to transition again now to brush knee left. We're going to sink back and pivot out on the right heel. Shift forward and then go into empty stance, allowing the body to rotate. Step out onto the heel and then push forward. After the forward push, we're going to step up into play the fiddle, half step up, shift back, and then shift into empty stance and play the fiddle. Left heel goes down, right palm facing the left elbow, left palm facing across. Now we're going to do brush knee again, brush knee left, beginning by starting to circle the body without lifting the foot. I'm going to go through the core movements next. We begin the motion, and then as we release the foot, the arm will circle back. And then we step out, dropping the palm, and then brush knee left. And that's going to finish the sequence. Now let's talk about the core movements. At the end of crane cools its wings, we are in split. So the hands have split in this manner, the hands and the arms. The left ball of the foot is going to go from in the air down to touching the ground. And then now we're going to begin this motion here. So what is this motion? What we're doing is we're turning the upper and lower waist together towards the rear leg, and at the same time we're extending the glutes from the left hip. So in this position in crane cools its wings, I have flexion of the left hip. So I'm essentially attempting to lift the left leg off the ground, but the core rotation is what brought the ball of the foot down. Now I'm actually going to push down with the hip on this side as I turn the upper and lower waist to the right. That's the first part of the movement. And then to get the full circle of the body, I have to release the left leg by flexing the hip. Once I flex the hip, the arm will circle back. Now I have my upper and lower waist turning to the right, and I have a flexed left hip. Now to step out on the heel, what I'm going to do is keep the upper waist in the same orientation, but I'm going to take the lower abs, the lower waist, and turn it to the left, changing the root from right to left and creating the step out onto the heel. Now I'm going to push forward. This is the same core movement as the push in Grasp the Sparrow's Tail. I'm going to extend the right hip, turn forward with the upper waist on the right, and root the right leg by tucking the pelvis with the lower abs on the right. That is the push action that we use at the end of brush knee. The left hand is going to go across the body. So all the core waist movement is on the right, and the hip action is on the right. So we have extension from the glutes on the right, projecting the right arm, which is different than what we did recently, single whip, where we're extending the glutes on the right, but we have the waist action on the left, creating that movement, projecting the left arm. So this is pluck because of the orientation of the waist rotation. And then this is push because of the orientation of the waist rotation. Now we're going to do the pivot, and I'm going to do this facing the camera because it will be easier to see. So we're in our push, and we're going to shift back and pivot by flexing our left hip. The hip action is a rotational movement, even though it is not as easy to visualize that as the waist rotation. It's very easy to visualize the waist rotating to the right, rotating to the left. The hip action also creates rotation, even a more powerful rotation than either the upper or lower abs by themselves. So when I flex my hip, if I visualize it this way, flexing my left hip, this creates a leftward pull on the body, as opposed to if I extend the left hip from the glutes, that creates a pushing action from the body, pushing us in a rotational manner away from that hip. The final outcome of the movement will depend not only on the flexion or extension of the hip, but also on the direction of waist rotation. So here I have the upper waist turning to the left, lower waist tucking on the right and turning to the right. And then when I add the flexion of the left hip here to that same core rotation, that is going to allow me to pivot out on the left leg. The root is on the right, which is the lower ab tucking. Now we're going to shift forward using the same core movement that we did coming out of Crane Cools Its Wings. I'm going to extend the right hip now and turn the upper and lower waist to the left. And then when I flex the right hip, now the arm on the left is going to circle back. And then I'm going to change the root to the right, creating the step out and dropping the right palm, circling up the left palm. And then I push with the left hip, core waist rotation on the left. Then we repeat the same movement. Pivot by flexing the right hip. Push forward with the left hip, turning the upper and lower waist to the right. This is the core movement of shoulder strike in the Tai Chi code. So let's do that again. Pivot. This is the equivalent of shoulder strike because of the waist rotation and hip action. When I flex the left hip, this is now the equivalent in the Tai Chi code of elbow strike. And then when we step out onto the heel, this is the equivalent in the Tai Chi code of press. Flexion of the active hip, upper and lower waist action on the same side as the flexing hip. And then we push forward. Now from the side view, we're going to do play the fiddle. Half step up. I'm going to flex my right hip, turn forward on the left, and root the left. And then I'm going to shift back by flexing the left hip and turning forward on the right and rooting the right. So we basically reversed the core movement. We get into empty stance by turning the upper waist to the right. And then we do play the fiddle by extending the right hip and turning the upper waist to the left. Now we're going to begin going into brush knee again. And the transition here, even though it looks different because we have a different starting point, is the same movement we did before. I extend the left hip, turn the upper and lower waist to the right, flex the left hip, releasing the rotation. Step out onto the heel, and then brush knee with the left, push with the right.